you've ever had an exam, you know what it's like to race against the clock. Starting an A320neo is just like that. Except not. In this case, you are racing time before 100 angry passengers start yelling at you. Stressful, right? Let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do as soon as you finish filing your flight plan on SimBrief is turn on batteries 1 and 2. Then you're going to click external power. That's going to get everything lit up and ready to go. After that, you're going to turn on all the fuel pumps. Right. Now that that's done, you can actually align the aiders here to nav. And then you're going to turn on the crew oxygen supply because, they kind of need to breathe. Right, after that, you can actually turn on the wing lights, the nav and logo lights. Seatbelt signs can come on. Smoking signs to auto and emergency exit signs also to auto. Okay, after that's all ready, we can actually start programming the MCDU with all the flight plan stuff. But first we're going to import the SimBrief data into the tablet here. Okay, so we have all this information here ready to go. We can actually get the jet bridge connected, the fuel truck, the ground power unit, the baggage truck, and catering truck all ready. Here it is coming right here. Now that that's connected and ready to go, we can press this button to import the fuel from SimBrief and start loading up the fuel. And then we can actually start boarding now. So there's a really easy acronym to remember this MCDU stuff, which is DIFSRIP. Delta, India, Foxtrot, Romeo, India, Papa. So basically, what you're going to do first is go to direct. We don't need to do anything here, in this case, at least. But then the next one's going to be the init page, which you're going to request the information from the SimBrief, your flight plan and everything. And that loads everything in for you, just like that. And the IRSs are aligned. So after that is Foxtrot, which stands for flight plan. So here is our flight plan all loaded. And if you look at the SimBrief flight plan that should be generated for you, we can look at this right here. So our departure is going to be direct and same as our arrival out of 09er Center and to Des Moines runway 13. So we can start getting that in here. So Cord is Chicago O'Hare Airport. And so we can click on that here. It's going to ask us for departure. Click right here. We're going to select the runway, which is going to be 09 Center. Here it is, 09 Center. And then we're going to do a no SID because it's direct, so we don't need a SID. Then we can clear this flight plan discontinuity. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like in a second. But let's actually go to the destination, set up the arrival. So we can come over here to arrival. Landing runway 13. So we'll get the ILS 13. And then no star. You can hear the boarding was completed right there. Okay. So you can see right here, the aiders are aligned. If we go to plan, it'll show us our flight plan. So as you can see here, it just ends for very good reason, actually. The flight just doesn't continue on after that. So that's the flight plan discontinuity right there. So if you press clear and then clear the flight plan discontinuity, you can see it connected. And now we're taking a right-hand turn after departure. So if we continue looking through this, we can see another flight plan discontinuity here. Click clear in the right-hand corner and then clear the flight plan discontinuity. You continue through here, and then you're going to take a left turn into the runway. The Sierra in DIFSRIP stands for secondary flight plan. In this case, I'm just not going to bother. And then Romeo is RANAV, also not going to bother here. You can look into it a little bit more. But for now, it's fine just like this. And then you're going to go back to the init B page, or init page, and you're going to go to the init B page, which is going to be all the fuel and all that stuff. So if we look here, we have 4,700 kilograms of fuel. So if we search up 4,700 kilograms, 2 tons, we can see it's 5.18 tons. So let's round that up to 5.2. 5.2. Right into the block field right here. And then this is going to auto-populate. So you click on it once. You can see the numbers here. Click on it again to insert it. Here are all the numbers for the zero fuel weight and center of gravity. Then we need to fill in the trip wind, which we can find in our operational flight plan right here. Okay, so the average wind is going to be -42. So if we just come right here, it's going to be a headwind of 42 knots. -42. Insert it right here. Okay, and then you can see all our times are being updated. Alright, so next we're going to head over to the performance page. And then an easy way to do this is if you come to the calculate, fill data from the operational flight plan, and press calculate. It's going to fill in the important values here. So our V1 is going to be 145 knots, same as rotate and V2. We're going to have flaps 1 for the departure, and the flex to temp is going to be 70 degrees. Okay, so 145. Insert it here. 145. And 145. Alright, flaps are going to be 1. Flexed temperature is going to be 70. I just gotta double check that's all correct. Yep. Yeah, 70. Okay. So now we're done, completely done with the MCDU. So we can go back to the flight plan here. And yeah. Okay, so we can actually start the APU now. So if we click the master switch, then we just gotta wait 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now we can turn on the APU starter. And once that turns to avail, we can get the APU bleed on. Now we'll turn on the beacon lights because we're gonna start. We're going to start our engine soon just to warn the ground crew. Okay, so let's get rid of the jet bridge. Fuel truck can go away. Ground power unit can also go away. And then let's get over to the pushback. Yeah, you can actually see here the APU flap is open. And then you can see this powering up. Yeah, available. Now if we check back up here, yep, there it is. Start says available. And then we can turn on the APU bleed. And let's go start up the APU. Okay, let's call the cabin. Just double check everything. Okay, everything looks good to go. We can turn off the external power now that the APU is on and ready. Let's just set up the autopilot panel. So the QNH for departure is going to be 02 or 1020. 1020. Okay. Oops. Sorry. 102. Come on. There we go. 1020. Our initial climb altitude is going, we can also find it in the flight plan, is going to be 38,000 feet. Let's just set it to 10,000 for now. Just to give us time for the getting the landing lights off and everything. So we can click in for a managed climb. And then we should be ready to go with the autopilot stuff. And then for here, let's go to ARC. Yeah, okay. So for the navigation display, we can turn on the constraints on this side and then the waypoints on this side. So basically the constraints are like in our flight plan. If we go to the landing, we can see here, right here, the purple signifies a constraint, and here it's 3,000 feet, so we can't go lower than 3,000 feet. So it'll show up on here as well if we turn on that value. Okay, so now here we are ready for pushback. We can get the pushback system on. Parking brake is on. Oh yeah, one last thing actually. For this is for the landing. So I'm not gonna put this in right now, because the weather might change, the air pressure, the wind speed, and the temperature and all that. That might change, so I'm not gonna put this in now. But if you were to, you would do it just like the departure that you did, right here. Basically the same thing. All the values are like QNH, for example. The value is right here, 1015. Find the winds, and all that. But I'm just not gonna do that right now because it might change. Okay. We can call the tug now. Parking brake can come off. Tow brakes are on. And then we can actually see here, we're going to taxi to this runway right here. So we're going to push back. Tail to the right, I think. Yeah, tail to the right. Onto this taxiway right here. So we're going to start moving here, and then we can actually turn on the ignition switch right here. Let's get engine number 2 on. Once we get out of this little ramp area, we can take a right over here. Just don't want to hit anything. Here you can see engine number 2 is starting up. Okay, so once the engine shows a veil here, yep, there it is. We can turn on engine number 1. You can hear the PTU there. Not realistic, but I just like to hear it in the cockpit. Alright, and we can stop right here. Okay, let's get the parking brake on. Tug is no longer going to be attached perfectly on center of the taxiway right here. Engine number 1 is ready to go. Let's get the engine selector right here back to normal. Okay, and let's get the configuration for taxi. So we're going to get flaps 1, brakes to auto, or auto brakes to max. Speed brake lever is going to come armed. And let's get actually the predictive wind shear on. Predictive wind shear is coming on. Let's get a squawk code. Let's just put in whatever. Hey, and it's
flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
there we go. All good to go. And now we can get parking brake off, and we can actually, before we start rolling, let's turn on the taxi lights. Taxi lights come on, and that's all we need for now. Actually, APU can turn off. Master switch off. Okay. Looks good. Okay, so we are taxiing to this runway, so we're gonna take a right here. Perfect. Take a left right here to exit like this stand area. Don't mind my very fast taxiing. It's fine. And let's brake a little bit. Brake, brake, brake. Zero niner center. Exactly what we want. I brake. Okay, parking brake is coming on. All is well. Let's get the runway turn off lights on, landing lights on, and nose lights to take off. Strobe lights can go to auto. Let's call the cabin. Let's get flight controls. Flight controls here. Okay, so full elevator up, full elevator down, full rudder left, full rudder right, full aileron right, full aileron left. Everything looks good. Let's get the takeoff configuration normal, and then auto brake is max. Perfect. We are now ready to enter the runway without any ATC clearance. Perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah. Let's just slowly get in here. No taxi or Southwest taxi this time. Because we're serious. Side turn. And we are beautifully lined up with the runway. Let's brake, 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 brake. Parking brake is on. Double check everything. Everything looks good. Okay. Parking brake is coming off. Throttles are going to climb. I flex. And then finally toga. Until we reach the rotate speed, which you'll see here indicated in a purple arrow right here. Hey, airspeed's live. V1, rotate. Okay, front wheel is off the ground. Jeez, it's windy. Positive right gear up. We can bring back the throttles to the climb position. Auto throttle has turned on. We can get the autopilot number 1 on. It's gonna let's get the managed climb on. It's gonna start climbing up to 10,000 feet and follow this outbound track, and then we can actually get flaps 1 up. Okay, auto brake is gonna come off. Ground spoilers are gonna be disarmed, and everything else should be good. As you can see here, we're increasing airspeed up to 250 knots. Just as we want it. We can actually turn off the runway turn-off lights and the nose takeoff lights. See the moon right there. Really nice. Okay, so then we're gonna start making this right-hand turn out of here, and this is where I'll end the video for today. If you guys have any more questions or anything you guys are wondering, just comment on my video what you guys would like to see next. Thanks so much for hopping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.